All right, here we go. Yo, yo, yo. What up, though? Crystal popping in the building. What's popping?
What's up? How you doing? I'm good.
Hey, I'm good too, man. El Paso in the building representing.
You know it.
Moving all the bricks from the east to the west, from the north to the south.
Yep. Got to.
I appreciate you sitting down with me. I'm definitely excited. About a month or so back, I got a chance to interview GT Garza.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? GT
that's
spoke
fam.
highly of you. You know what I'm saying? The talent speaks for itself, but the character, he was talking about how amazing of a person you are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad I get a chance to sit down with you.
That's awesome.
So growing up, El Paso, West Texas.
Yes.
West Texas. You my very first West Texas artist as well.
Really?
What was it like growing up in West Texas? And what's the difference between on the West versus over here on the East?
It was very hot. The weather is it gets very, we're in the desert, it's dry heat. It's not humid at all. It's just dry. But I come to love it. And it was really cool, you know what I mean? Like, my whole family has lived there for generations. So,
Okay.
I'm third generation, and my great-grandparents, they're from Mexico, but my mom was from El Paso, and her mother was from El Paso. So we spent a lot of time there, you know what I mean? Like, I never really actually left the city until 2015.
Got you.
That's when I really left for the first time. I had vacation maybe twice in my life before that because like an aunt took me,
Okay.
But yeah, I never really left the city, so I really, El Paso's really ingrained in me. Really, really good.
When people think of El Paso, they think of two things: UTEP,
Yes.
and they think of how you say Juarez,
Yeah.
yeah. That's when people think of El Paso. Those are the two things. But like the upbringing, the culture in El Paso, what was it? What is the city like?
The city is it's interesting because it's like you can either look at it as like a little city with a big feel or a big city with a little feel, but everyone basically knows everybody. You go to school, you usually go to school with people throughout, like from elementary all the way through high school, you know what I mean? Like you're around usually the same people. The food is amazing, I have to say. The food, I always miss food from El Paso when I'm not there for a long time.
What's that staple? What's the food?
So I mean, like the very popular restaurant that everyone is like, you have to go if you go to El Paso, it's called Chico's Tacos. And it's a really interesting dish. Like you guys definitely have to check it out or like Google it or something, but it's like tacos and soup, it's the best way to describe it. But it's my favorite thing in El Paso. But other than that, just the culture, the food, whether it be Mexican food, barbecue, anything, like it's really good there. Other than that, like just growing up, so I grew up in Central El Paso.
Okay.
So at the time, like when my parents were growing up in Central, that was like gangs and like fights and like school riots and stuff like that. Like when they were growing up in Central, and then when I was growing up in Central, we're the kids of those people. You know what I mean? So we're like, I was around a bunch of troublemakers. I loved being in school. Like I just loved like getting good grades, but I was like my environment was very hectic.
Got you.
But I tried to be like a good kid, in this crazy world, and so that's where I really like. How I came up and stuff. But I was still like trying to get involved in school when I was younger. Not till I got into high school, that's when I like started being rebellious myself, you know what I mean? And I started getting into trouble. But I think El Paso, like, I love the fact that I grew up there because it definitely shaped who I am.
Absolutely.
Like who I am today. The way I carry myself, I feel, has a lot to do with the way I grew up there and stuff. And yeah, I'm super grateful to be from there.
Jumping into hip hop music, like what was your draw? Like why hip hop? Because I mean, when you look at, Latino music, things of that nature, when you stay on that side, man, y'all sell out like crazy. Like y'all, when y'all get fans, y'all fans are very supportive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You look at like other people like, Pitbull or things of that nature. He started off on like the hip hop side and went to this whole pop side, and it is crazy. So how did you get into hip hop and why hip hop instead of kind of going more of the pop route right out the gate?
So before I ever did music or ever thought about doing music or anything like that, I was just in love with music. Like that was just who I was. Like I was always with my headphones. I was always listening to music, and I was writing. So I would just write like my feelings. I would journal a lot. I would like be in my books a lot because I also was. It was really hard for me to make friends. So the way I would like express myself was like through writing, and that's why I started rhyming. Just like through like just writing my feelings out, I started to rhyme, and then it wasn't until I had graduated high school that I actually discovered music.
Mm.
So it's a crazy story, like how I started. There was like a cipher going on at a party, and I jumped in the cipher, and I just spit one of these like verses that I had written, and then someone in the circle, they pulled me aside, and they were like, "Hey, we got a studio. Like, do you rap? Like, we can record you." And I was like, "No, I'm not a rapper or anything. Like, I just write." And they were like, "Well, we want to record you. Like, when we want to put you on your first song." So then they ended up bringing their studio equipment to my house, and then we recorded my first song in my room.
That's
And
crazy.
that's how it jumped. Like, it was like from that day on, like I dedicated my life to it for sure.
What was that aha moment that you knew, like, you know what, I'm actually good though. Like, this is what I want to do.
That was the first time I heard myself on the track.
Got
For
you.
sure. Like
So
it was weird because like they put headphones on you and then you're in front of this mic and now you can hear your voice in your ears. Like it's a really weird experience for the first time. Like the
absolutely.
first time you do it. It's just like, oh my God. And I was also like learning how like loud to be and stuff. You know, it's just
Yeah.
it's such a new thing. But once we like figured it out, once I figured out like how to be on like how to project my voice, they mixed it down, they like made it sound all nice and stuff, and then they played it back for me. And when they played it back, that's the moment I fell in love with it.
Gotcha.
Like it was like I knew this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life because I would also try to like go to school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I didn't know what career path to take. Nothing felt right to me. And like that was the first time that something actually felt like right in my like something I wanted to be, something I wanted to like strive for.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
With hip hop, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people jump into this game. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's very saturated. It's a lot of artists. It's a lot of people fighting for a spot. But you are making elevations that most people never get a chance to see.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the tour.
Yeah.
Most artists never get to go on the road and promote their music. So kind of talk about that tour. How did you get this together? What is it like being on tour and just being in this space as an artist?
I think being on tour is the funnest part about being an artist, for sure. I think that it's the time where you really see where what your music can do, like what your music is doing for people. Because you're recording your songs and you're putting them out, and people are like online kind of tell you, kind of like see what it is, but you can't really like know what it's doing until you see it on stage. You know what I mean? So just that element is for me my favorite part about being an artist. Like,
Gotcha.
yes, I love being in the studio and creating the music, but it's when you're performing it and like people are vibing with you, like that makes it like so worth it.
Now, I interviewed Reverie, and Reverie Love said that, you know, she didn't wait for people. She used to wait around waiting for people to book her. And she was like, why wait? I can do my own tour.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the route that you decided to take, or did you actually have like an agency reach out to set up the tour?
Well, I had like 2018, 2019, I was touring in an RV all around the US.
Man.
Yeah. So like I didn't live anywhere. I didn't live in a home or apartment or nothing. Like all my stuff was in this RV. And I was just traveling around with my manager city to city, like looking for opportunities, you know, like we definitely didn't wait around for that. We like made stuff happen. And because of that, what we did in those 2 years, it led to like people who found us, such as GT Garza, and he already had established tours, you know, like he had already been on tours,
Right.
done many shows. And when he heard about me and what I was doing in this RV, he invited me on his tour for the first time. And that was the first time I ever toured, and then saw kind of like how like something's organized with managers and like, you know what I mean, like promoters and like everything like really set up. You're going to cities that you're booked at. So I learned a lot on the tour I did with GT. And then I was getting ready to go on my own tour after that. And then pandemic hit.
Bam.
Boom, everything stops. So like I'm off stage all this whole time. And now that everything's getting back together, like now I'm like in another element as well. Like I feel like I've elevated since 2018, 2019, you know? And now it's a little more serious. Now way more people know about me. And people reached out recently. Malena,
Okay.
the girl that I'm opening for on her tour, she had heard about me and she reached out. She said, "Hey, I put my tour together with people who know how to put these, tours together and stuff." And she was like, "I would love for you to come along with me." And I was like, "Yeah, I bet. Like, this is definitely something that's like an elevation for me. This is something like even bigger than anything I've done before as far as shows and stuff." So that's really cool. But yeah, I think that the touring is definitely like the thing that I love the most for sure.
No, that's dope, man. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? You got out there on the chitlin circuit, as they used to call it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In your RV, making it happen on your own, and it opened up the doors.
Yeah.
Now, though, I find out, being from El Paso, now you LA, you West Coast.
Yeah, now I live in LA.
Man, what about them that like, man, she done came up and she done turned her back on Texas and then went out there to Hollywood. Like,
People,
come on, what's up?
I think that there are some people that feel that way just because they feel like you need to stay in your state. But I show mad love to Texas constantly just because I am proud to be from Texas. Texas is like my flavor for sure. And I'm always shouting them out no matter what I'm doing. Any show, it doesn't matter what city I'm in, I definitely represent Texas. And I think that that's cool, but it's necessary for me to be out there right now because I haven't actually been out there, and I feel like LA is somewhere that every artist kind of needs to go to, like, find out what needs to be happening, like networking, finding the people that can help you take the next step in your career for sure. Especially because I'm from El Paso and there's not too much music industry there yet.
Gotcha.
But, it's growing, but there's way more established music industry in LA. So that's why I'm there right now.
When the pandemic hit, and it forced the entire world to kind of sit down and put everybody on vacation for a moment, what did you learn about yourself that you may have not known being on the road 2 years? That forced to sit down. What did you get to see about yourself?
I definitely learned, as far as artistry, I learned that I had to stay in the studio and keep working even though I didn't know what I was working for or towards. I just knew that I had to stay sharp. So it kept me grinding on my own, and definitely showed me that I was strong enough to do this for real. Like strong enough to motivate myself to keep pushing, because I saw a lot of people that did like stop, and when people sat down and they didn't really like stay on the grind, and now it's like they're a year behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't want that to happen because I knew one day everything's gonna get back to normal. Like I can't like just sit down and kick it. So I worked in the studio like every single day. I was making beats. I was making songs. I was networking online a lot. I even jumped on TikTok like during that time, like finally made my TikTok because I hadn't made one before that. And it showed me that like the grind is like, it's there. It's not gonna wait for nobody.
Gotcha.
And if I would have stopped, I would have been way behind right now. So yeah, like it kept me grinding.
We in a world right now though, we're threatened that it might get shut down.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, I heard that.
Like, how do you feel like that impact artists if that does happen?
If it shuts down again, I think it's gonna be the same thing, to where it's like those who keep working diligently and like are pushing their product and treating it like it's not a vacation. Like those are the ones that strive. Because when it stops, like when everything does come back, like they're ready to run. And I think that that's important, you know, because if you want to be an artist, like when people say this isn't easy, like you just think like, oh, like I can handle it, right?
With the lockdown, what I think though is like places like Texas and Florida already prove it don't matter. They're never going to shut down. And hence we see a lot of the California elite move to Texas. Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Move somewhere down close to Houston, about to start his own city called Star something. Like he about to create his whole city around Tesla and his going out of space.
Yeah.
So I feel like the Democratic states more so, California is a Democratic state. They're more likely going to rescind a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So do you feel like, okay, if that happens, do you come back to Texas or go to Florida?
I think so. Like the reason I'm in LA is to move around.
Gotcha.
You know? And I don't know if I would buy a house there or anything like that, because I love Texas. Like I definitely want to move like to Houston. I definitely have a crib in El Paso for sure.
Gotcha.
So Texas is just my vibe, you know.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so if I can't move around LA, I'll probably go back to Texas for sure.
Gotcha.
But I'm there until that happens.
Now your sound is crazy. Bars is crazy. Production is crazy. And your versatility is what shocks the most.
Yeah.
The new record, you know what I'm saying? I had like after I saw the one joint with you and GT Garza going back and forth.
Yeah.
That joint was, man, I love that. Just jumping in from bar to like punching in. I think y'all was doing like 4 bars and you would come in 4 or something like that. That was wild. But then the new record, I was like, okay, we about to get on some old gangster shit. I'm ready. I'm ready. And that way it came in on pop. I said, oh, she a star. I said, she out of here.
That's what's up. Thank you.
Because that range and that versatility, not everyone can do that. Not everyone can be a chameleon and get placed in a room with a different sound and actually deliver it. And you did that as if that's always been your pocket. Yeah. How do you feel about that record and what's the response for it?
I love it. I think that I can't just make one thing. You know what I mean? I think that I saw that with XXS Tentacion.
Yep.
I think that he proved to me that you can make whatever sound, like that you can deliver, that you can, show the world that you can deliver this. Like, go for it. Like, there's no boundaries. So I always like to challenge myself and do things like that. So when I was put in the room with a bunch of musicians, we were like, we need to make a big record. And I was like, I want it to be positive. I want it to be something that people need right now. So like I was giving this direction about like the feeling that I wanted to get. And like the guitarist started laying down the run, like his riff and stuff, and like the melodies started coming out, and it started turning into this like really big something that can be on the radio.
It's crazy.
And I was like, oh, I got this. Like, I like this beat. Like, I like this sound. Like, I can do something on it. I think that for me, like, that's the key. Like, as long as I think the beat is good, like, if I like it, then I can go for it, And I think that has interested my fans up to this point, because my first, like, what I come from is just, like, trap, like, rap, street bars, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, doing that. I even did like a hip hop contest when I first started rapping, was like all these hip hop heads and then like people, like scratching. There was break dancers, and then I ended up competing and I got 3rd place out of all these rappers, just because like that's what got me into it. I was like, I loved making bars, I loved rapping my ass off, I love going aggressive, because people don't expect a female to go hard. You know what I mean?
Facts.
And I also wanted to make music that both males and females, like guys and girls that would love it, anybody, like it's for anybody. And then, but I also come from a place where like I've lived through shit. I have a lot of pain in my heart that like I carry, and I think that that's where like I draw from as well, like when I create music.
With the feature on there, what was the feature? Her name,
Paula Deanda.
Was she already in the studio when y'all made that record? And you was like, hey, you got to get on this, or did you hear it and just like send it to her? Yeah,
so I had made it on one day,
okay.
And then I was talking to everybody like that was involved with the record, and then I was like, well, what should we do? We should put a singer on it, like on the hook, because that's someone that can really sing. Because I can sing, but not like that, like I'm not like a singer. So then they were suggesting, because I worked with Charles Chavez on that record, and he was like, I know Paula Deanda, like we can get her on it. And I know Paula Deanda, I like her music. I've listened to her for years, and I was like, that would be amazing. Like, let's get her on it. So we ended up sending her the song, and she liked it, and she ended up singing it, and she killed it.
That's dope, man. Like, the record is crazy. The production is crazy. So, like, with the tour and this record, like, what's on the horizon? Like, what's the plan? What can we expect from KRYSTAL Poppin'? Because KRYSTAL is literally popping.
Just surprises. I have a lot of tricks up my sleeve. You know what I mean? Like, I like to come. I never like to be predictable.
Gotcha.
Like with this tour, I'm coming definitely with some like in your face stuff. So you definitely have to come check out the show to get that side of me. But then like I'm creating content as well, like content that you're not gonna expect, like the features that I'm dropping that are coming up. Like I like to just have a lot of like, stuff in the bag that I can just be like, oh, here you go, oh, here you go, So
Gotcha.
I think that's fun. That's the fun part about like watching me, is that I can come from anywhere with it, So I think like you just gotta stay tuned. You just gotta like keep checking it out.
And we end on this because we in a time where female rappers is doing their thing, but not only that, Hispanic female rappers running the game. Cardi B, You doing your thing. Snow the product,
Yeah.
doing the thing. Bella the rapper, I call her Big Blick of Bella because she the first, so small, these big ass guns in the video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're really seeing women running hip hop.
Yeah.
But with so many women running hip hop right now, what makes Crystal Poppin different?
The thing that makes me different, I like to say, is like because of the way I grew up and because of the world that I have to carry on my shoulders for my people and for the things that I'm doing this for. I have a lot of heart. I have a lot of heart for my music. Like when I go in the studio, like I'm not thinking like, how can I just get famous? Like this means a lot to me. There's been a lot of people that have come to my doorstep offering me stuff, offering me deals, offering me this, offering me that, but they weren't talking about the future that I wanted.
Gotcha.
And I've turned it down just because that's how it means more to me to put out the right sound, the right message, the right product. My vision. My vision is something that I feel like I have pictured for so long. Even before I started making music, I always felt like I was gonna do something big or like be someone. I always wanted that, and I'm dedicated. So I think that you can hear the heart in my music, whether I'm rapping my ass off and talking shit or like I'm giving you this song that you can play at the family barbecue and like turn up, with your family. Like there's truth in everything that I do, and I think that my pain and my love, it makes me different, and my aggression for sure, because the way I like mix it all together, like I don't know, I don't
It's
know
a
how to
balance.
explain it.
Like some foods are good because it's salty but sweet, crunchy, but it gives
Yeah.
you the kind of, and you bring that balance. And
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm definitely a fan. When GT came, I thought I had that interview that day, and he's like, nah, she ain't. I don't know what happened, but the universe always bringing it back around at the right time.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you sitting with me.
Thank
The
you.
tour, man, do your thing.
Thank you.
Don't forget about me. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely not. No, and that's another thing. You know what I mean? Like I have been in places where people have been rude to me, have like, I've been a waitress before. I've been the underdog at the show before, you know what I mean? I've been treated so like wrong in my life, and I never want to ever do that. Like that's why I tell fans, like, if you see me out, like ask me for a picture. Like I love that. Like you guys are the reason I'm doing this. So like I 100%, like I would never forget someone that believes in me or believed in me in the beginning. So
Hey, for
appreciate
sure.
that.
Well, you're on your way to the top.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to the day we sit down again and we talk even higher about what you achieved.
Absolutely.
Hey, Crystal Poppin, until we meet again, I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Peace out.